Good morning again, ladies, gentlemen. On behalf of the EU of the entire team, I would like to welcome you in Brussels and in the SEU premises. That way also for us to some flag already questions for wondering where is the event. The event is in our premises, and for those on the way, hurry up and come here in the middle of Consumer Door 56. So, like I said, it is my pleasure to welcome you again in this rainy day in Brussels, in the SEU premises, with the occasion of the infoday, an information, an entire day to inform you about our 7 calls under the Horizon 2020, and if I count it well, the 13th of our existence. So I hope we will have an interesting day. I think hydrogen has already got so much traction in Europe and also internationally that I think we will have a very, very fruitful day. Without having more words of introduction, I will get already in explaining you a bit about our organization for those who do not know us already, and about the call and about the day. By now, you should all have heard about the Green Deal. We might wonder why the call, why hydrogen, but we have a very, very ambitious target, especially in Europe. And our new commission, our new president, Ursula von der Leyen, has already put a very ambitious target by 2050, more ambitious than it was already published with the strategy 2050 about a year ago. And she was saying and reading, and then quoting, the European Green Deal is our new growth strategy. It will help us cut emissions while creating jobs. So keep in mind every word that she was saying. And was complemented by the Vice President, Franz Timmermans, who said that we propose a green and inclusive transition to help improve people's well-being and secure a healthy planet for generations to come. Very, very high ambitious words, and I think we will see why. In the Commission communication back in December, so about a month and a half ago, and in the roadmap to reach the Green Deal by 2050, I just put few expressions, few quotes again from the roadmap, where I found how hydrogen could play a role into the Green Deal. And again, it says that each industry needs climate and resource front runners to develop the first commercial applications of breakthrough technologies in key industrial sectors by 2030 already. Priority areas include clean hydrogen, fuel cells, and other alternative fuel cell energy storage. So clean hydrogen and fuel cells are seen in the backbone of Green Deal. Moreover, partnerships with industry and member states will support research and innovation on transport, including batteries, clean hydrogen, but also low-carbon steelmaking, circular bio-based sectors, and the built environment. Again, we see the role of hydrogen in all the sectors to contribute to the Green Deal. And finally, when we talk about regulatory framework, energy infrastructure especially should foster the deployment of innovative technologies and infrastructure such as smart grids, hydrogen networks, or carbon capture, storage and utilization, energy storage, finally enabling sectoral integration. I underline the keywords which are very relevant, not only for the Green Deal, but also for our program. And you will see through the day, you will see through our call already, call 2020, how we already address all the priorities in the roadmap for Green Deal. No need to convince anybody in the room or to explain about the role of hydrogen into our economy and our society. With the main two contributions, which is particularities, advantages of hydrogen, which is into the surge, especially for seasonal surge, and for the sectoral integration. Who are we? We are a strong public-private partnership with a focused objective. We also call ourselves an institutional public-private partnership. You might have heard about many partnerships. Ours is one of the institutionalized ones, meaning we have our own governance. And we are a partnership between the public arm, represented by the European Commission, and the private, represented by the two organizations, the industry grouping, Hydrogen Europe, and Hydrogen Europe Research, representing the research arm, academia research organizations. We have again, by now we all should remember our 5 main objectives, both on the energy, and when we talk energy, we have 3 objectives. 1 is to produce green hydrogen, to increase the efficiency and reduce costs of hydrogen production, mainly from water electrolysis and renewables. But in the same time, looking at hydrogen for energy storage and grid balancing, demonstrating on large scale hydrogen's capacity to harness power from renewables and support its integration into the energy system. And the third objective also on the energy side is looking at fuel cells for heat and electricity production. We also used to say for heating and cooling, by increasing the fuel cell efficiency and lifetime durability. On the transport side, we also look and work on fuel cell system, reducing the fuel cell system cost for transport applications for all modes of transportation. And finally, while doing that, we should reduce the critical raw materials, for example, platinum into the fuel cells, but not only. Aligned with the 5 objectives, we have our program structure. And when we talk again energy, remember the 3 objectives. We work on our projects on hydrogen production and distribution, storage for renewable energy integration, and fuel cells for power and combined heat and power generation. On the transport, we address all road vehicles, cars, buses, trucks. Non-road vehicles and machinery, like materials handling vehicles, for example. Maritime, rail, and aviation applications, more heavy-duty applications, and again, you will see it in the core of this year, but also the related to fueling infrastructure, the hydrogen fueling stations with all their components. And when we talk about cross-cutting, these are issues that we address for both energy and transport applications, like standards, innovative research for standards, safety, education, and all the issues that are common to both policies, energy and transportation. So far, I mentioned 13 calls, so we have 11 years of existence and 11 years of implementing calls. And between 2000 and 2019, we have supported already 266 projects for about €1 billion public funding. And then you can see down, it was covered somehow by the articles, we have at least the same amount of private funding in projects. So these are in the project. You might also heard about the private investments that we also track. Along with the project, we call them additional activities, and we have about the same amount in private investment. So overall, we can see that with our project, we have leveraged from €1 public investment at least €2 private investment. The distribution of the projects between the areas, so between the objectives, the 5 objectives I mentioned before, is about, I would say 50-50, with 46% into the energy, 41% into the transport, 6% in cross-cutting, and the that we put aside for the so-called overarching projects, which are looking at cross-sectorial, sector coupling type of activities. And now getting to the second part of my talk, which will be the call. The call of today, the discussion that is going to happen today, and the overview. So, in short, we have already published on the 14th of January, the call 2020. You don't have to remember the call identifier. It links to Horizon 2022, of course, because that's from where the budget comes. It has 93 million. Just remember the deadline, 21st of April. We will mention it probably several times today. And about its content, there are 24 topics that we will actually implement the call through. So 93 million in 24 different topics, with about 41 million in transport, 30 million in energy, 30 million in overarching, and 9 million in cost-cutting. Do you remember what means each of them? On international cooperation, I on purpose chose to underline that, just to mention Horizon 2020 is open to the world. All topics are open to international collaboration. In particular, international cooperation is strongly encouraged to mission innovation or with entities from mission innovation member countries. You see them down, and of course, in our annual work program, in 11 topics. I'm not going to talk much about mission innovation, just to mention what was launched in May 2018. Innovation Challenge 8, hydrogen, is the challenge that is important to us, and the member countries in that challenge should participate or are encouraged to participate in our course. Now, practicalities. You should have already the agenda. The agenda was on our website. We will go through the core topic presentation. So the project topics are some of them, not all of them. Some of them will go through the core topics presentation. We are not going to read time our work program. So we will underline important things in every single topic. Please put questions if you have. I'm going to get in a moment to turn the call. We will have a networking coffee. Please use this break for coffee, for lunch, and even in the afternoon to talk to each other, form consortia, and in order to apply successful proposals to us. After, in the second part of the morning, we will get a bit into the rules, legal and financial aspects, some lesson learned, some do's and don'ts. And we will also hear short presentations from our present members, Hydrogen Europe, Hydrogen Europe Research, and the National Contact Point. And in the afternoon, we will split and we will do a brokerage event per area of interest, mainly for energy, transport, cross-cutting. The event is also web streamed, so there are people following us online. If you have questions, I'm outside, so I encourage questions in the room. So do not hesitate to put your hand up and ask questions. But especially for the people at home following us online, but also for those who are more shy, please use Slido. So do not hesitate to put us questions. We will look through. I cannot guarantee the answer to all Slido questions, but we'll do our best. And of course, please, I think there are a lot of people interested in our event today, so please use the Twitter as the hashtag of PSTGU and tweet about the event. For the brokerage, as I said, I encourage very much the networking. Please use this event. This is the main purpose of the event. Like I said, the topics could be read in the annual work plan. The scope of today is that we go through it with you. We can answer your questions, but mainly we have an opportunity for networking, for constructing good applications, good proposals. We have also, depending on your interest when you register, we have also somehow labeled each of you with your interest. So if you would like to talk with somebody else in transport, follow the person with the blue dot. If you would like to talk to somebody on energy, follow the yellow dot. And similar for overarching is orange, and for cross-cutting is pink. Like I said, also go to the different brokerage. There will be brokerage sessions. There will be held in parallel by the different brokerage officers. We already registered your interest, and we have arranged the room accordingly. And if you have presentations with slides for the brokerage event, please make sure that they are uploaded in our computers. We would like the event to go smooth, so please do not come with a memory stick in your hand when you have to talk. Make sure it's there on the computer in advance. With that, I thank you very, very much. That was my short introduction. I'll be here the whole day, and I wish you all a very good day. Thank you. Let's go and start with transport application, and it's my pleasure to give the floor to the first speaker, Carlos Mora, one of the project officers who's going to go through the transport application.
Good morning, everybody. Well, the slides come up on the screen. I just want to introduce myself. So my name is Carlos Navas. I'm project officer in most of the transport topics, and I will try to introduce that. Before I start, the one thing I would like to underline, and hope some of my colleagues do as well, there's basically no substitute for your need, your requirement to actually read the topics. So we'll try to summarize the best within the main broad overview of some of these topics. But there's absolute requirement for you to read the topics, understand them, and try to address every single aspect of them, and they are written in the book. So please do that. So without further ado, just to give a broad overview of the main focus for the different topics, we have 8 of them, and the main focus is really heavy-duty applications and their related storage. We will see a number of topics on coach buses, trains, and ships, something that has been happening a little bit more and more steadily over the last few years. And at the same time, need to improve the onboard storage technologies. And I would say there's a particular focus on liquid hydrogen. And I would say that heavy-duty transport applications and liquid hydrogen pretty much go hand in hand. You can imagine that the vehicles, which are kind of talking about, get bigger. Some of the operational requirements are harder to meet with standard, let's say, compressed hydrogen storage, and there you have to start looking more and more towards liquid hydrogen storage. And there are some topics that address both of those. What is new? We have not had before anything on coach buses, so this is the first time we do that. We also have something in trains, again, that's a new topic for the FCHTU, and some advanced storage technologies. And we have topics on advanced storage technologies, but the focus on liquid hydrogen is kind of a new thing for us. Now, the point which, so we have 8 topics. These are the first 4. The first 3 are research and innovation actions. And by the way, you'll see in some of them we actually introduced some asterisks. And in a number of them, those are eligibility criteria in terms of the maximum funding that is allowed. So you cannot go above that amount by 1 single euro cent. So that's something you absolutely must abide by. The first topic is on hydrogen tanks for electric vehicle architecture that have a low TRL, and I'll show you very briefly. The second one is durability lap and stack, again, kind of a low TRL type of topic for advanced units for heavy-duty applications. Then we have liquid hydrogen for onboard storage, and we have standardized filter modules for heavy-duty applications. Very challenging but very interesting topic as well. The next four are demonstration of coach buses. This one is one of the big ones, probably in Europe. Demonstration of liquid hydrogen for the waterborne sector. So this is basically marrying, if you like, the heavy-duty application of maritime ships and liquid hydrogen in one topic alone with taking in Europe. So that's a big one as well. Then we have a topic that's a little bit broad for train applications. There are a number of different applications that you could actually look at in terms of the railway sector. And that's a big one, 10 million euros overall. And the last one is scale-up and demonstration of innovative compression technology. So that's, let's say, moving up to scale in terms of TRL for new compressor technology. So without further ado, I'm going to try to summarize very briefly the main lines of each of one of these topics. So the first one I mentioned is development of hydrogen tanks for electric vehicle architectures. And the idea here is that the vehicles don't really match the, say, the cylinder shape that we have today, and we need to go to conformable shapes, more prismatic type things, that will really conform much better to standard vehicle architectures. Okay? So that's the main thing. This is, of course, a low TRL. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, not just the materials, but really even beyond that. And you have some requirements in terms of the design space that you need to fit into, how many prototypes need to be built, and there's a fair amount of testing that is actually listed on the topic that you need to go through for any one of these prototypes that we develop. So that's something that you need to pay attention to. And I would also underline this is a mission innovation labeled topic. So please look into possibilities to collaborate with such companies. The next topic is durability lifetime stacks for heavy-duty applications. And the idea here is to see if you can come up with a set of stacks and or basically cells and NDA, and truly determine what the degradation mechanisms are, and improve the NDA and cell design based on those findings, particularly for heavy-duty applications, in particular, more specifically for heavy-duty trucks. So this can be done in any number of ways, rather than examples that you can do. You could also have AD data from actual field tests or actual trucks, or even agent tests in truck stacks that can be done on a lab. You should, in principle, follow realistic load profiles. And of course, once all of that is done, this should in principle give you some learning, and then that should kickstart some new designs on advanced, more durable stacks for these kinds of applications. The next topic is liquid hydrogen for onboard storage. And here it's really an idea of going to, not necessarily too basic, but the idea is to go to liquid hydrogen for onboard storage for heavy-duty vehicles. So this is not necessarily light-duty vehicles, which was something that was done in the past, and you may remember some work done 10, 15 years ago by a number of companies. This is really going to the next direction for larger storage requirements for heavy-duty vehicles. It needs to be compatible with existing liquid hydrogen refueling technology, and the feasibility should be evaluated during a study on a demonstration test bench. So that's something that you also need to look at. You have there some targets in terms of the capacity. So these are larger tanks, 40 to 100 kilos. So this is not for your standard light-duty vehicle, your car, or anything like this. This is really trucks, or even larger trucks, trains, ships, and so on. And with some targets also in terms of the oil rate and the refueling rates. So that's an interesting topic. The next one is standardized fuel cell module for heavy-duty applications. This is a very interesting and challenging topic at the same time. The idea here is to develop and validate a standard fuel cell module for heavy-duty applications. The first 12 months should define the standard module frame, size, inputs and outputs, connections, and so on and so forth, by a minimum of 7 fuel cell suppliers and 3 vehicle OEMs. So this is why I mentioned this is pretty challenging. It's really a collaborative effort that we're seeking here. And after 12 months, a minimum of 7 fuel cell suppliers should want to move on and develop, build and commit to build their systems using that defined standard module frame. Okay? This modules should then be tested using a reference test device. So this is what within the scope of the project. Again, very challenging, but very interesting if it can be done. Today's topic is implementation of fuel cell coach buses. This has been requested by a number of people by the industry increasingly over the last few months, from a couple of years or so. These buses need to be designed, built, minimum of 6 of them should be built and demonstrated within the scope of the project in 2 coach segments, both intercity and long distance. They should be, they must be operated a minimum of 2 years and 80,000 kilometers per coach per year, with a minimum daily travel distance of 100 kilometers. So this is the first time this is done. We hope to see a lot of interest on this one. And then the next topic is demonstration of liquid hydrogen as fuel for the waterborne sector. And again, you can imagine that ships, especially larger ships, require storage technologies that go a little bit beyond or streaming standard compressed technology, and there liquid hydrogen starts to become a more attractive solution. So this liquid hydrogen storage module needs to be developed with a minimum of 1.5 tons of capacity, and of course integrated into the ship with a minimum of 2 megawatts of power. Bunkering and scalability up to 20 megawatts also needs to be addressed in this topic, and this should be operated. So it's not just a design, they need to be integrated and operated for a minimum of 12 months, including both winter and summer seasons, with a minimum of 3,000 operational hours. And last 2 topics. Next slide. There you go, thank you. The next last 2 topics are, the first one is extending the use case for fuel cell trains. And I'm sure many of you, not all of you, are aware that there are some prototypes already running in Germany, and there are plans for many more. But you also may be aware that we did a study not too long ago, last year, which I certainly invite you to go take a look at the download of our website, which indicates that there are other use cases beyond the regional trains. So innovative prototype design can be tested. They need to demonstrate a TRL 7 heavy. And the categorized regional trains, if they do, then they need to be different or innovative with respect to what is already out there. Or you can also address shunting or mainline locomotives as well. One of the issues that is underlined and highlighted, I would say, in the topic itself is the normative aspect, because it's very complicated to homologate and go through the process of homologating these new units. So the topic addresses the need to propose a normative framework for the placement of the market of trains using fuel cell and hydrogen propulsion. And the last topic is scale-up and demonstration of innovative hydrogen compressors. Some of you may know that not only mechanical compressors or the standard type that we have in hydrogen refueling stations are available, but there are new technologies coming up, and some of them have reached pretty good levels of development. And the next step is essentially this topic: to upscale them and integrate them into operational hydrogen refueling stations. These need to be done in stations with more than 200 kilos a day of refueling capacity. It can be using 100% the innovative technology or a combination thereof, and needing a combination of the new technology and the conventional technology. And a testing period of minimum 1 year is absolutely required. Using 700 bar refueling, these stations in principle are for light-duty vehicles, for passenger cars. And it needs to meet, of course, all the requirements in terms of methane, in terms of purity, and so on and so forth. And that's it. That's all I have. I think I will give the next
Thank you. Thank you very much, Carlos, for such a comprehensive view of the transport application where it lends about half of our budget this year, although a third of the number of the projects. I'm sure you have questions, but I said already, please use Slido if you cannot wait in the question and answer session, which is going to be after all the presentations just before the break, before the coffee. We move to energy, and I would like to give the floor. It's a combination presentation. Energy is just more complex, at least in my view. And I will give the floor. I think we will start first with Nikos, who will be followed by Antonio. Nikos.
Thank you, Miranda. Good morning, everyone. By the way, Miranda was not introduced. Miranda is our head of unit, Miranda Tamasi. So, right. It's going to be a joint presentation, this one. My colleague Antonio will also present the two topics on overarching besides the energy. So you see this button with the last one. Right. So we have broken this into subgroups of topics, starting with hydrogen storage and distribution and offshore applications of electrolyzers. So the main focus is to prepare for the future and bulk hydrogen storage, also to prepare for offshore bulk green hydrogen production. So what is new? It's been a few years since the end of the High Under project, so we are now revisiting this topic with two topics in this area, and we are also looking for the first time for an electrolyzer offshore, or close to offshore. Four topics. 2.1 is for hydrogen distribution. Liquid organic hydrogen carriers, a low TRL, 2 to 4 TRL topic. 2.5 is the underground storage of new hydrogen in depleted gas fields and other geological storage, oil fields. It's a study. 2.6 is the electrolyzer for offshore production of renewable hydrogen. These are all research projects. And the last topic, 2.7, is the cycle testing of renewable hydrogen in a salt cavern, a small salt cavern. It's a demonstration project. Here topics 2.5, 2.6 and 2.7 have this limitation on maximum funding, and two topics 2.5 and 2.6 are included under leftover budget flexibility, meaning they would be preferred in case there is additional budget left. These would be preferred topics to select more than one proposal. So, briefly through the topics. 2.1 is catalyst development for improved availability of liquid organic hydrogen carriers, decreasing PGM loading. It's open to all concepts, provided the carrier addresses the efficiency, regulatory and safety issues. And what is important for me to clarify is not very clear in the code text. The capacity of the rig to be demonstrated is mentioned 10 kilowatts. This refers to the dehydrogenator power. It's roughly a system processing 1 kilogram of hydrogen per hour. These systems now consume around 10 kilowatt hours per kilogram of hydrogen released. The aim is to take this down to 6 kilowatt hours per kilogram. Point 2.5, forgot to mention that this topic is also open for collaborations with partners from countries from the mission innovation. 2.5, underground storage in depleted gas or oil fields and other geological stores. It's a study, a paper study, but also a laboratory study to identify suitable stores. They should be close to wind resource, but also natural gas networks.
And there should be work done on the geological, microbiological, engineering issues, etc., tests and modeling. So you need to think of involving geologists as well in this topic. 2.6, field research is the electrolyzer module for offshore production of renewable hydrogen. It will be 1 megawatt plus electrolyzer to be compatible with an offshore environment. To save some time, we didn't dictate that it goes offshore. It should be near shore and use all the funding to improve the electrolyzer. It should be one module of the multi-module design that at the end of the project should be certified for offshore operation. The offshore operation should be fully simulated. So the desalination unit for feeding the electrolyzer should be there, and the system should be ready to work in a high salinity environment, direct connection to renewables, and hydrogen delivery at suitable pressures, ease of transportation and maintenance of this module to an offshore platform. It should involve an electrolyzer OEM, offshore energy sector company, and the Hydrogen Safety Competence Center to be able to reach all these targets. The innovation action here is the site testing of renewable hydrogen storage in a small salt cavern. Now, again, it's a megawatt scale electrolyzer to be coupled with an existing or to be drilled small salt cavern. And the capacity of the salt cavern should be small enough to allow daily cycling of the cavern. So it should be something very big because a megawatt scale electrolyzer won't be able to produce enough hydrogen over a day to allow the cycling. That will eventually allow, again, the technical assessment of geological, microbiological, etc. capabilities of salt caverns. Issues like the purity of hydrogen, solid injection extraction should be addressed, and in view of scaling up eventually to large capacities. The next subgroup, which is actually covered by my colleague Jens, is high temperature electrolyzers, mainly expanding the scope of solid oxide electrolyte applications by diagnostics and control systems, coupling solid oxide electrolyzers to renewable energy sources, rather challenging things, and co-electrolysis. There are 3 topics. 2.2 is the integration of renewable heat and power. 2.3 diagnostics and control, and 2.8 is a demonstration of large-scale co-electrolysis for industrial power-to-X market. 2.2 is integration with renewables, the coupling with renewable electricity and heat. It's mostly coupling to solar energy, so PV and concentrated solar heaters. A capacity of 20 kilowatts electric is the aim capacity of the electrolyzer, and the effect of heat and electricity variation over the day. So the challenge here is how to keep the stack hot during the night. And eventually there will be a design study for upscaling to hundreds of megawatts. Topic 2.3, diagnostics and control for solid oxide electrolyzers, is going to build up on what has been done for solid oxide fuel cells. To understand better degradation mechanisms for solid oxide electrolyzers, reversible solid oxide cells, and co-electrolysis. Lastly, the demonstration project. We do have demonstration of large-scale solid oxide electrolyzers now at the scale of 3 megawatts, equivalent electric. Now the point is to move to megawatts for co-electrolysis, aiming for a system of 700 kilowatts electric, capable of producing at least 80 kilograms of syngas per hour. Should be fully equipped, the CO2 stream should be there, available, the electricity supply, etc. Demonstrating the system for 2 years, producing 500 to 900 tons of steam gas over that period. And there should be a techno-economic analysis for the total cost of ownership, life cycle analysis, indicating greenhouse gas emissions mitigation potential. So with this, I pass the floor to Antonio.
How are you going to do that? So two topics. One, research and innovation action. That is going to be precisely trying to develop these flexible fuel solid oxide fuel cells and also from CO2 and hydrogen. And we are going to do that to help our industry to develop cost-effective solutions of fuel cells, solid oxide fuel cells for data centers. That would be an innovation action. Can you go to slide number 12 of the thing? So, with that I've done with the slide. So again, here, data centers, innovation action, and next generation of solid oxide fuel cells, all to help our industry to consolidate their position in the market. Two topics, the first one, research and innovation action. Second one on the data center is innovation action, and it has a maximum funding. That's an eligibility criteria, important to have that into account. A bit more details on the flexible fuel and stationary solid oxide fuel cell. It's about developing and demonstrating in a relevant environment stationary solid oxide fuel cell systems able to operate in a wide range of gas compositions, including hydrogen mixture. That's why I was saying we really want that as a result of this topic, we have solid oxide fuel cell systems that are ready, that are hydrogen ready. We need to look at what we have, so it's really focused on adaptation of existing systems. And these two of the manufacturers should be based in the EU or associated countries under Horizon 2020. We want to use these topics to bring the systems as close as possible to certification, so really we want to do things so that the manufacturers have an offer into the market. And it has to be demonstrated in the operation window from 0 to 100% hydrogen. Two main things about the demonstrations. 6,000 hours on this at the site level, showing a degradation rate below 1% per 1,000 hours. At system level, we need to see 9 more subjects that the system is running, showing electrical efficiencies of the values that you can see here, which is more than 48%, with acceptable availabilities, more than 90%. There is a number of system performance and CapEx targets, quite demanding, but that's precisely what we want to need to do on the performances and CapEx today with the units that we have. And they are all in relation to the 2024 multi-annual work program targets. As I said, the topic should lead to systems that have hydrogen ready. On data centers, the challenge is how to provide reliable power supply to data centers in urban areas. Many times we have power cables that are overloaded. And when we go into thinking about, okay, let's do some sort of gas capacity engine, there are more and more air quality restrictions. There is a potential for fuel cells in there. So this topic is aiming to support industry to develop building integrated solutions, fuel cells, adapted to data centers in urban areas. We're looking at more than 50 kilowatts electrical capacity for the fuel cells. It has to be a modular architecture. It is scalable, that's important, and strong modulation as that is required by data centers. Important to have into account the pipeline. It's about providing through the solution and through the electrical approach to the overall system 99.999% availability. And it needs to be demonstrated in a real data center for more than 8,000 hours. Service and maintenance requirements have to be met. What do we do with the heat? It has to be considered. And we need to really have some solutions that position both players in those topics in advance of what we have now available in the market. So it's very important to put together cost-effective concepts and high-performance solutions, and there are specific KPIs that you can find in detail in the topic. And the other thing to do here that it's about increasing and enhancing the strengthening the competitiveness of our industry. So the topic has to foster reputation. And we want to emphasize that the composition, the system supplier, as I mentioned before, one system supplier of fuel cells based in Europe, and we need to have a data center provider in the consortium as well. And the project has together identified and developed business models. Moving to RACI, it's about cross-sectorial energy and transport addressing the same topics. We have a real action, looking at proto-conducting surrounding materials, and another one, innovation action, plastic projects using hydrogen for decarbonizing Ireland. Hydrogen proto-conducting materials, it's about unlocking the potential of proto-conducting surrounding materials as alternative ways to compress and purify hydrogen, no TRL action, starting at 2, ending at 4. An integrated approach is necessary to material science and reactor design. Targets the development scale validation under different conditions, and there needs to be implementation of the materials and self-selected as short-stack or medium reactors. Life cycle analysis needed in comparison with the conventional technologies. Final topic I'm going to present, as I mentioned, plastic project, 10 million euro maximum funding. It's about showcasing the ability of hydrogen to decarbonize Ireland in Europe. It's about demonstrating how hydrogen can enable sector coupling and to integrate or to maximize the amount of renewables that can be integrated in the selected island. All hydrogen has to be produced using renewables in the island, important element. At least 2 fuel cells and hydrogen applications covering energy and transport, where we have stationary fuel cells for heat and power that we cover energy and then to have some buses. At least 300 tons of hydrogen per year, that's on the scale of 1 to 1. Produced in the island, using renewables in the island, but consumed also in the island. Key is the replicability and scalability of the project. Very important to configure revenue that are affecting that. And of course, we don't say a maximum company that is coming there. It's actually, but the project has identified to secure that additional funding. It has to be a flagship project in a visible location, so it's up to the proposers to convince that this is the case. So any additional funding that is necessary needs to be coming up by offering a financing scheme in the topic. And finally, it's all about the long-term vision for that island or for that territory. It's about how hydrogen can play a role in the local and regional plans, and it's important that that is also included and addressed in the proposals. Okay, that's all for any.
Thank you both. Thank you, Nico. Thank you, Antonio, for the, again, very comprehensive view on the energy topic. And with that, we are approaching the end of our call, and I will give the floor to the last project officer for this small part, Alberto Garcia, for the cost cutting.
Thank you very much, Vidala. Good morning, everyone. As I said, I'm Alberto Garcia, and I have the pleasure to present the topic of cost cutting in each area, which is a very important area in which we try to concentrate all the supporting activities that control the activities undertaken in the transport and the energy sector. And the focus this year is a traditional on regulation codes and standards in which we try to create a suitable environment from the regulatory perspective. And in particular this year, we're going to focus on multi-fuel refueling stations in which we are going to tackle administrative barriers as well. But also we are going to tackle this year waterborne applications, in particular hydrogen ships or passenger ships, in which we are going to support criminal research to develop this regulatory framework. Also, one of the focus, the other focus is on sustainability, because of course the technologies have to work well, they have to show good performance, but they have to be environmentally friendly. And therefore this year we believe that we should support not only life cycle assessment, we should include the economic and social dimensions. That's why we are going to expand the assessment to sustainability assessment as well. We are going to, for the first time ever, tackle aspects on eco-design in order to incorporate the social and environmental dimensions right from the beginning, from the design phase. And also, we are going to tackle recycling, because these technologies, they need to be recycled. So we have to develop company standards, traditional and also novel technologies to recycle these products.
Cross-cutting this year we have 5 topics accounting for 9 million, and we cover research and innovation actions, but also support and coordination actions. The first topic, as I mentioned, is exactly refueling stations. We would like to provide guidance to assist the hydrogen dispensing in this multi-fuel environment, in these refueling stations. The work scope includes at least 4 activities, and the project should start with the best research on the current status in the European Union concerning these refueling stations for light, but also heavy-duty road vehicles. They also should entail an experimental campaign of practical research involved in the topic to address the gaps identified in the best research. They have to generate best practice guidance that can be applied throughout the entire union, because what we'd like to have at the end a common approach. And finally, they have to engage with permitting authorities and standards developing organizations, because we want to share all this knowledge with the relevant stakeholders. This is a clear impact-focused topic for every of these activities. There is a clear impact in the impact section. Please have a look at all in all, the overarching activities are focused on trying to get a higher degree of harmonization of requirements for the permitting of the technologies. This is a topic with a strong international dimension. We encourage you to seek international cooperation, in particular with the Mission Innovation Council. The second topic is a research and innovation action focused on innovative research for hydrogen-based fuel solutions for passenger ships. We would like to support innovative research to facilitate and to develop this regulatory framework for these fuels, for these ships, and it includes gas, it includes liquids, but also whatever hydrogen-based alternative fuels. And we would like to create this together with the International Maritime Organization, which is the organization dealing with all these aspects. The scope of the work includes the review of what is up now, the needs, the challenges, obstacles, and barriers for these type of applications. We would like to generate the technical knowledge for the development of the regulatory framework, and we would like to provide a clear guideline and the roadmap to add gas, liquid, and hydrogen-based alternative fuels in the ITF code, which is the safety code for passenger ships. We believe that to tackle all these activities, we need a strong and comprehensive partnership, including all the stakeholders from shipbuilders, designers, tech providers, R&D centers, local authorities. All should work all together to really develop this regulatory framework. We believe that we encourage and we listen to that cooperation with IMO is needed, because at the end what we want is a chapter in the IGF code dedicated to hydrogen. And as in the previous topic, we encourage a strong international dimension, because at the end this is equal for everyone. Third topic is concerning eco-design guidelines. We would like to really incorporate the environmental dimension right from the design of the SGH of every SGH product. At least 2 SGH products should be covered, from fuel cells, tank cells, water electrolyzers, solid oxide cells, or even alkaline water electrolyzers. We would like that the guidelines include a set of prioritized eco-design actions, in which the emphasis should be in the design for recycling. But also, they should look into frameworks for more mature sectors, such as batteries. The project should take into account the European Union taxonomy framework, and the methodology of the eco-design assessment should include the impact assessment of the solutions proposed, showing the benefits for all actors along the life cycle of the product. Clear cross-collaboration with the topic on life cycle sustainability assessment, which is the last one I will present in a minute. And as eco-design is important for everyone, a strong international dimension is required. Next is about recycling. Yes, we would like to develop and validate existing and novel recycling technologies for SGH products. The work should review and rank and identify all the physical, chemical, and thermal processes for material recovery. We would like to show
and the project should adapt and validate existing processes in the conventional recycling and recovery centers, at least 2 recycling processes, existing recycling processes, and at least 2 novel recycling techniques should be part of the project. And the validation of the suitability of the materials recovered should be demonstrated also in open or closed-loop recycling approaches. Finally, a socio and environmental economic analysis of the strategy. Wow. Thank you, Benjamin. And as in the previous one, a multidisciplinary and comprehensive partnership is important for this topic, from OEMs, recovery and recycling companies, experts in life cycle assessment. We believe that this is needed to tackle the topic properly, and as well as in the previous topic, a strong international relation is important, and mission innovation countries should be are encouraged to participate in this topic. Last is the topic on life cycle sustainability assessment, which is the novelty of the year. And yes, we would like to update the methodological framework and guidance for life cycle social sustainability assessment of the technologies compared to the one developed in the project SC High Guide and the guidance document that were developed. And we would like to identify what is needed concerning that reference document that is developed in SC High Guide, and also to update those guidance documents. We would like, for the first time, to widen the assessment framework into social and economic indicators. That's a novelty this year, and we would like to collect life cycle inventory data. And the most important, we would like to provide all these data to all. They should be publicly available. And at least they should demonstrate the methodological framework in one application for fuel cells and one for hydrogen production systems. As in the previous one, it's important the international dimension plays both in the topic because, as we said, it's encouraged. And with this, I think that was all from cross-cutting topics, but I would like to draw your attention on some few additional requirements that are also included in the entire code. The first one is concerning the technology monitoring and processing the stakeholder, because every project should report to our Trust platform, which is an online data collection, because we need to show that the results of the projects are going towards the objectives. So keep in mind that every year the projects will have to provide this information to the platform. The second one is concerning safety reporting, because every project as well is requested to provide information on safety. Safety is very important for us. And in that sense, every project has to report to the GRC every incident, accident, or even use related with hydrogen in the course of the project. And it has to be reported either in the database HADIA, which stands for Hydrogen Incidents and Accident Database, or our own proprietary database, which is Helen, in which we collect all the safety incidents or accidents occurring in our project. The first one is related with testing activities, and yes, every project testing performance, durability of filters or water electrolyzers is requested to follow or to adopt the harmonized testing protocols that we are co-developing together with the JRC, the Joint Center of the European Commission. The fourth one is the certified guarantees of origin. Yes, every project is encouraged to use and to follow and to report the origin of the hydrogen produced or used to the certified platform. This is very important. This is an initiative that we have been running for several years, and we would like to draw your attention that this is one of the requirements across the entire code. And last but not least is something new just for innovation action. It's written in the topic, so you can have it there. For the first time, all innovation action, they should provide a proposal level at Trust Safety Plan, which will be further developed at project level, and indeed which will be reviewed by the European Hydrogen Safety Panel, which is a panel of experts that we have in the program office in the General Undertaking, helping us to tackle hydrogen aspects much better. So, with that, I think this is it from my side. Let me check. Yes. So, thank you very much for your attention, and I will give the floor to Mirella for the Q&A session. Thank you.
handle this that we don't see all the questions popping up. Another comment I have, just by looking quickly for the question, we don't have here, I understand we have a brokerage event. I'm not sure our platform can offer that you can sell your products or, please focus the question to the purpose of today if you have any questions. We are going to project, or it's already there. But I would prefer, before we go into the slide of questions, to see if we have questions in the room. And we have some mics, so the mics will be with you in a moment. Yes, the gentleman here, and then there.
Good morning. I have two questions, please.
Can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Raume from the American Social Group here in Malta. I have two questions I'd like to place, please. The first is regarding the type of topics that are inside each call. If it's always in January and they are available only until April, or if you can know somehow 1 year before what type of topics there will be. The second question is, if we are not sure if our project can be placed into one of those topics, can we contact anyone in this organization to try to find out if we can fit the project somewhere, or if there is no chance of doing that?
I'll try to answer myself, and then I will look at my colleagues if they would like to complement. So, first question, if I understood well, asked about if possible to see the topic more in advance than January.
Precisely. For example, for the 21 topics that will be starting.
That would be more difficult to do. I can explain to you that indeed we start talking about the topics for a specific year about a year in advance, but they are only approved by our governing board, which comprises members of both European Commission but also the private partners. They are only approved in December. So from 13th of December, to tell you precisely the date when these topics were approved, we just published them 14th of January. So earlier than 13th of December, we cannot disclose.
Okay, thank you.
So the second question was, if you remind me.
If we want to do some project with the fuel cell, that we are not really sure if it fits in one of the topics, can we email someone in the organization? Can we try to find it out?
So I think we will project again. I think it was on the slide of Alberto, and it will be in my slide before lunch. We have an email address, mailbox, FH project, where you can email your questions later. Okay? Any question in the room? The gentleman there first. Hello.
Hi there. Adam Batley from Progressive Energy in the UK. We're developing what's called the HyNet project, which is an integrated hydrogen and CCS project in the northwest of England. Obviously, UK projects are becoming slightly less relevant, more so often switch, which I'm very sad. Two questions. One is specific to the salt cavern call. I think it was mentioned on the slide that it was focused on a hydrogen from an electrolyzer. I just wondered whether it was also permissible to use byproduct hydrogen from industry as in the proposal under that call, because ultimately the purpose of the as I see it is to demonstrate recycling in the salt cavern rather than production of electrolytic hydrogen. That was my first question.
Hold your second one. So just quickly on the UK, because really, I think we will have a slide later, but if you're wondering, for Horizon 2020, including this call, from where we get the budget, the rules are the same. So UK participants are the same like UK being a member state. So business as usual, I could say, for Horizon 2020. Just to clarify that, yeah.
Now, the byproduct hydrogen is considered as green hydrogen. However, in this topic, it could be used as a passion gas, but reading at the text, the suitable source pattern should identify probably the climate scale nutrition involving a nebulous scale electrolyzer. So, under this topic, we foresee that there should be a nebulous scale electrolyzer installed as well.
Okay, thank you. Just my sort of wider related question. We used the term in the UK blue hydrogen quite frequently. I haven't seen it so much in other member states, but it's sort of more widely across the calls. Our projects that focus on blue hydrogen, i.e. hydrogen from splitting natural gas and CCS, eligible alongside renewable or green hydrogen projects. That may depend on specific call.
I thank you for your comment. I think it's more of a comment than a question, is it?
I guess maybe you could reflect on whether green hydrogen projects are specifically included or not, or whether that depends on the call.
If you remember one of the objectives I mentioned, one of the 5 in the morning, is to produce hydrogen mainly for renewables. So this is why you see our call going that direction. And if I can dare to comment on the blue, we are going to call it blue, and we have definitions according to the certified methodology where we have it green and clean. As far as I...
low carbon hydrogen. But in general, you will see that overall, most topics, we encourage the use of certified green guaranteed origin to demonstrate the renewable nature of hydrogen.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, the gentleman there. It's coming. No need to shout.
I'm Maurice Bakken from EHP Engineering Switzerland. It's somewhat related to the second question on the situation with the UK. If you can elaborate a little bit more. There was a paragraph also on the document in case something really goes wrong and they're part of the consortium, what's going to happen?
As I mentioned already, nothing will go wrong. Or at least that's the last instruction we got last week. So for this call for Horizon 2020, we have for UK participants business as usual. They are allowed to participate and receive funding from the EU. They are eligible. Yes, the lawyer is telling me. Thank you. Yes. And then I will try to also get to the personal side. Yes. It's not working. Are you on mic? It's working.
Hi, Martha, thank you. I'm hosting from the UK National Contact Point for Energy, so I just want to re-emphasise what you're saying. Absolutely business as usual. After signing the withdrawal agreement, we are completely eligible. We've paid into the framework programme, so we're eligible for Chicago United States and for funding. Just want to make that absolutely crystal clear to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, one last question from the room. We might get still to the question. We are just in time. Yes, Andrew?
Angelo Marino, Italy. I have 2 questions for Carlos, and then one for Alan. When you say in the trains, innovative design, can dual trains be eligible or not? Dual means that the catenary and hydrogen green.
Yes.
Yes, okay. And for ships, innovative ships can be even the back ship eligible. We want it all right.
Yes, obviously there's no requirement on which kind of ship is to be a power system.
No, because I thought that it was only part of the ship, but it's not.
The first question, by the way, is I think it is specifically addressed in the topic the hybrid system between fuel cell propulsion and the catalytic. So that's one of the innovative designs that's actually specifically invested in for the
the island, there is no restriction about the size of the island. I mean, as we think it has to consume 300 tons per year, but no restriction on the size.
There is no such a restriction of the island. As you mentioned, it has to be 300 tons of hydrogen produced and consumed in the island. It has to be a flagship project. We're looking at long-term plans, so we're really also looking at the scalability.
I hope you know geography, especially in the city, you can be eligible. Okay? And what I was thinking is that since 300 tons per year, has to be produced only with one electrolyzer, or can be produced with several. There is no size about the electrolyzer.
No, it's only about the production itself on the volumes of hydrogen.
And that's to be green.
That's important with renewables in the island, indeed.
Not blue, not gray, just green. Okay.
I can use the certifying to start the capabilities.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just a moment, because I would like to be fair to the people who brought them on some Slido. I see that depending on the popularity now, the order has changed. So I'll try to, the first one is hydrogen should preferably be injected in a hydrogen or natural gas grid, requires involvement of natural gas grid, TSO, DSO, and the topic to proceed Nico.
So it would depend, I guess, in terms of obtaining permission to inject the relevant quantities of hydrogen, on whether you would need to involve them as a project partner. I guess this is what you're referring to. Then again, if you think that this would strengthen your proposal, you might as well go for it.
Second question, just quickly, how can non-EU countries that are mission innovation countries apply as part of the consortium? And that will be explained in the second part of this morning. I'm not going to go into the detail of that. Airborne transportation seems not addressed in this course, correct? We don't have a topic on airborne applications. We have supported so far aviation applications, and we have currently studied together with our colleagues in Kings to look at the roadmap for fuel cell and hydrogen in aviation. So we will come in the future with topics on that. Is there going to be any failure penalty to the participants? Very strange question. If so, how would such penalty will be applied? We never punish anybody. I mean, the worst would happen is you don't make it. So there is no penalty. And then the final one, that's the coal 2.500 storage in gas fields and other geological storages also includes salt covers and not only depleted fuel. Nico?
This is actually for, well, depleted gas and oil fields, and but there is also the term and other geological stores. Yeah, this is something I need to go through the text to be able to answer in detail. But I think we're mostly going for existing cavities, ones that humans would build salt caverns.
I think also for the offshore electrolyzer, I can also dare to answer that. What is the final application for the offshore electrolyzer? Ship refueling, we leave it up to you. To convince the experts that that's the best application. In the coal 2.7 small coal cavern, should the megawatt electrolyzer be installed on the storage site or is the remote one plus green certificate okay? So, do we dare to answer to this question, or you are really challenging us, huh? You good? Yeah. In the coal 2.7 small coal cavern, should the megawatt electrolyzer be installed on the storage side, or is the remote one plus green certificate okay?
Oh, that is challenging. Well, if you could do the daily variation, we need the sizing of the store. I think, you could do it like this, provided you get your electrolyzer. But then again, get the electrolyzer in another size. Maybe it will be in the scope of this course here. The main objective of this topic is to examine the feasibility of having a small power cell by an electrolyzer that follows an intermittent renewable power profile. So in the course here, we are looking for an electrolyzer on site to determine the renewable input in the government. On the previous point, we said that although pure hydrogen storage and salt cavern is practiced in some locations, hydrogen storage and depleted operations have not been done anywhere in the world. So I think we are focusing on depleted oil and gas fields and not salt caverns for 2.5.
And then I think you should say, because for the next 2.6, surviving periods of zero power input means the need for storage. I think we will have to get back to that one till,
No, that means that you have it's not specified, but probably a low temperature electrolyzer that would have no problems to shut down and wait for renewable energy to come again for it to start. It's not related to storage. It's dynamic operation related.
To the next question, is it mandatory to integrate a member of Hydrogen Europe in the consortium? No. We don't have such a requirement in the code. Strong overlap between topics 4.3, 4.4, 4.5. I'm waiting for the comment to disappear. How do you differentiate? I think we acknowledge there is some overlap. However, I think, at least to me, there are three different topics, completely and carefully, because I think you have a lot that you can differentiate, which I don't think is the place right now for me to explain. I'm lost. For the durability perspective regarding the coach bus, is it okay to replace the stack to meet the target, or does a single stack have to endure? It's difficult to understand the question.
We'll have to look at the spacing in the topic in terms of how many thousands of hours it requires. Normally, there are two aspects: the operational requirement for the coach box and then one for the stack itself. I think would be, I don't have the topic in front of me. Normally, I would encourage strongly to use a single stack, particularly in a sort of first of a kind type of prototype demonstration the way this is.
What is included in hydrogen-based fuel solution in the 4.2 topic? Is it primarily cracked ammonia, or also mixtures that include carbon, for example, methanol?
It's not specified, so it's completely open.
Again, for the offshore topic, is the renewable power dedicated, for example, connection before or after the transformer?
The text says that it should be connected directly to intermittent variable renewable power supply, so it should be before.
Do the appliers need to be from three different countries? Can you explain what you mean talking about construction? We will get to that in the second part, but yes, we need the project to have European, European added value. Otherwise, the support should come from the country. It is a project coming from only one country. So I hope you can understand. Consortium means a group of different entities. So we will explain in the second part. And I hope it's the last question. Is the project 2.9 critical power data center limited to solid oxide process or could other types be utilized?
It's not limited to solid oxide, this one. It's a different element that I mentioned before, European system supplier, Horizon 2020 in this country. Current level at the beginning of the project should be 6 and then there is a number of targets that have to be achieved. With that in mind, you can tell your solution as in terms of chemistry.
Okay, so we move on back into the room. I have the gentleman here. Just a second for the mic to come to you. Two more questions from the room, and I think we all deserve a coffee. Yes?
Okay, my name is Rakic. I came from Croatia. We have big problems. As you know, Croatia has thousands of islands. And problem is the very management of the islands. We're now going to solve the problem, therefore I'm going to ask you, in this one there is technology so-called high temperature hydrolyze of the waste, getting steam gas with up to 75% of hydrogen. Our question is, if you put this technology on one small island, producing so-called blue hydrogen, how can we consider it, because this hydrogen we should use for the ships or the public transport of the island?
I think I can already dare to say no, because the topic again, I'm getting confirmation, because the topic again says that hydrogen must be, so that's really a strong requirement that we produce from renewables.
Okay, this will put the solar panels as we have already, or windmills and then produce the hydrogen. Okay, thank you.
Correct, yeah. Yeah. Another question?
Hello, I'm Olivia from GFS. Thank you for answering already two of my questions through the website.
And you have the third now.
Yeah, so more second. You said solar cables are out of the scope on the code that is initially and going to a renewable engine and dedicated streams and other technological source. Okay, and my company is actually both in social and in dedicated fields. So I'm not really biased, but I see that this code is also asking for technical economic feasibility of implementing hydrogen storage in preferred locations, should be assessed, etc. And I kind of feel that if you take out solar panels, you may bias the review of opportunities of doing underground storage, just looking at source media storage. Just to
I don't know if people would like to comment. At least my immediate feedback would be our core covers both. But for core covers, we would like to learn few things, and that's the technical core covers, which is more for innovation, action. We would like to go into the field and learn something which are in the topic. And for the utility, we would like to start a bit with a step back and looking at accessibility, we would like to roadmap, and so there are two different approaches, and I don't see how we exclude them. Let's think of.
At the end of the day, your proposal is going to be evaluated by independent experts. So they will eventually assess this. I mean, it would be another type of geological store, man-made, and maybe not used anymore, so it's a depleted salt cavern, let's say. Yeah, so we have to balance.
Okay, so last question from the room. No? Okay, thank you very much. We finished the first part. Please be back at 11:15, so we'll still take a half an hour break, and we will start sharply at 15:15.